In this video, we're going to do a deep dive on how to use intermittent fasting for weight loss. I'm going to show you the best intermittent fasting schedule, and you might be surprised by this. What you're allowed to drink during your fast, what to eat when you're not fasting, and so much more. And make sure to stick around until the end because I'm going to show you an unbelievably powerful hack to make fasting easier. Trust me, it's not what you'd expect to hear. These are the exact same tips that I give to all my students, and they've all gone to see some amazing results. So you know it works. Before we get started, give this video a like, subscribe to my channel, and hit the bell to get notified every time I post a new video every week. Alright, let's dive in. Fad diets come and go, but in my opinion, intermittent fasting is the most powerful and sustainable method of weight loss. Its efficacy when it comes to specifically targeting body fat and burning it for energy is unparalleled because it's not really a diet, it's an eating pattern. It's a way of scheduling your meals so that you get the most out of them. When you fast, you get access to benefits like improved insulin sensitivity, reduced inflammation, it boosts your brain, it increases your metabolism and energy, it heals the gut, it builds your immune system, it increases growth hormone, it activates autophagy, and so much more. Amazing, right? Like, if the benefits of intermittent fasting could be put in a pill, it would be the greatest blockbuster medication of all time right next to exercise. And you can get both of them for free. You can actually amplify those benefits even more if you pair it with the proper diet. And we'll dive into that in a second. It's like having the cheat code to fat loss and improving your overall health. And just ask yourself this simple question. What do you think will happen if you don't eat? Like, what do you think will happen if you took a break from eating? And that's really how I want you to think about it. You're probably, most likely, gonna lose weight. A lot of weight. We simply did not evolve as human beings to graze on food all day. You're not a cow. In fact, scheduled meals are completely made up. Having said that, what you eat and when you eat are equally important when it comes to weight loss. Intermittent fasting takes care of the when you eat part of the equation because you're only eating in a compressed eating window. The rest of the time during your fasted state, amazing things happen to your body. Now, there are many intermittent fasting schedules to choose from. You can do a daily 16-hour fast, which is probably the most popular way of fasting. You can do a 20-hour fast, which is more commonly referred to as the warrior diet. Or you can do a 20-hour fast, which is referred to as the OMAD diet. You can also get into more advanced protocols like alternate day fasting, or an extended fast where you're doing anywhere from a 36, 48, 3 days, or even a 7-day water fast. You can also try dry fasting, which is next level stuff. I've actually tried all those protocols, so if you're new, make sure to check out all my other videos about it. And I can't remember the expert who said this, but a yearly 7-day water fast is an unbelievably powerful way to prevent cancer because you get to activate autophagy for an extended period of time, which is a cleanse on a cellular level. But as always, there are levels to this, especially if you're someone who's never fasted before. You gotta remember that weight loss is not a sprint, it's a marathon. And there's no finish line. This isn't something that you just do for 8 weeks and then you go back to your old crappy eating habits afterwards. The one who can stick to it long term wins. Adherence is everything. The best intermittent fasting schedule is the one you can stick to. Let's say you're used to eating 6 meals a day and then all of a sudden you pick one of the most advanced protocols like eating 1 meal a day. I guarantee 100% you are gonna have a miserable time doing it. Your body's gonna freak out, you're gonna have hunger pangs, you're gonna have no energy, you're gonna feel fatigued, and you'll most likely quit, and then you're gonna say it didn't work for you. No kidding, Sherlock. Listen, you're not a light switch, you're more like a radio knob. You have to slowly dial things down. That's why step number 1 of intermittent fasting is you don't start with intermittent fasting. You need to eat like a normal human being first. Eat 3 square meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. No snacking. And this was the norm back in the 50s and 60s, and we didn't have an obesity epidemic. Because the biggest problem with snacking is the type of food we eat. Because we don't really snack on salmon or hard-boiled eggs. We usually snack on processed and pre-packaged foods like granola bars, protein bars, chips, and then we go for designer coffees like crappy frappies from Starbucks. The poison lies in the processing. The more processing your food goes through, the worse it is for you. Now, once you've established 3 square meals as your baseline, then you can get started with the minimum effective dose of intermittent fasting, which is the 16-hour fast. The easiest way to do this is just skip breakfast. Or if you're somebody who likes to eat breakfast, you can eat breakfast and lunch and then skip dinner. Just make sure you're eating in an 8-hour eating window. Breakfast, in case you didn't know, literally means break fast. It's the meal that breaks your fast, meaning your overnight sleep. If you just do a daily 16-hour fast and follow the rest of the tips I'm about to give you, I promise you're gonna lose a ton of weight. Next, let's talk about the what you eat part of the equation. There are many diets you can choose from. You can simply do if it fits your macros or IFYM. You can go paleo, keto, carnivore, vegetarian, and even vegan. They all work with intermittent fasting, and that's the beauty of it. It works with any diet. Some are better than others, obviously. For example, it's your personal choice if you want to go vegan. It's commendable that you don't want to harm animals. Just know that optimal health is impossible without animal food. That's just the reality of it. I personally prefer a high-fat, moderate protein, low-carb diet, especially when it comes to fat loss, because it's the best diet to moderate insulin. When insulin stays moderated, it allows you to tap into your almost unlimited fat stores and burn it for energy. This is called metabolic flexibility. Personally, I'm on a carnivore-ish type of diet, and this is the physique I'm able to maintain. You should check out this video if you want to know more about it. Now, you can't control what you can't measure. You need to know your numbers. I highly recommend that you track your macros at the beginning, just so you have an idea of how much food you should be eating versus what you're actually eating. If you've never done this before, this can be an eye-opening experience for some people once you start adding up the numbers. You should check out this video if you've never tracked macros before. Now, if you don't get any further than this one rule I'm about to give you, I guarantee you're still gonna get results. What you stop eating has far more impact to your health than what you start eating. Pause this video and listen to that again if you have to. What I mean by that is if you stop drinking soda, if you stop eating fast food, if you stop eating processed carbs like bread, chips, pasta, pizza, cookies, cereal, and so on, if you stop eating refined sugar like granola bars, candy, chocolate, and if you stop eating most fruit, I can almost guarantee that you're gonna lose so much weight and you're gonna be healthy. Now, I'm not saying that you should never eat those foods again. That's just not practical, but they can't be part of your daily diet. This is especially true if you're overweight and or you have metabolic syndrome. For context, a mind-blowing 88% of American adults have some form of metabolic dysfunction. You need to get healthy first before you even start thinking about integrating those foods back into your diet. If you keep eating them while intermittent fasting, you're gonna be hungry all the time and you're gonna be severely disappointed with your results. Instead, I recommend following the 90-10 rule. 90% of the time, revolve your diet around single ingredient, mostly unprocessed, nutrient-dense foods. Whole foods. The most nutrient-dense and bioavailable foods are animal foods, which means your diet should mostly consist of animals and animal products. Eat plants you can tolerate based on its level of toxicity, because plants contain anti-nutrients. Buy the highest quality food you can afford. In a perfect world, you want to be eating grass-fed and grass-finished beef, raised without added hormones or antibiotics. You want to eat pasture-raised chickens and eggs. Get your fats from high-quality sources like butter and coconut oil. More than anything, avoid cheap vegetable and seed oils. They are literally toxic to the human body. I think it was Dr. Lauren Cordain who was quoted saying, "Using cheap vegetable and seed oils is like drinking radiation. It's that bad for you." And by the way, you automatically save money when you fast because you're eating fewer meals. Some of it you can now use to buy higher quality food. The other 10% of the equation, live your best life. Eat whatever you want. To me, that sounds way more sustainable. In a perfect world, you want to build your diet around these high quality foods so you won't even feel the need to have a cheat meal. It's just good to have as an option. Now, how do you make fasting easier? There's definitely going to be an adaptation period when you start fasting. Remember, you're going against a lifetime of eating habits here if you've never fasted before. That's why I mentioned earlier that it's important to become metabolically flexible first by eliminating all the kryptonite in your diet. But a really good hack you can use is something called bulletproof fasting, which was popularized by Dave Asprey. It's where you get to have your morning black coffee with some unsalted grass-fed butter, MCT oil, and then you blend it. And it turns into this creamy and frothy deliciousness called bulletproof coffee. If you've never had it before, you are in for a treat. You still get most of the benefits of intermittent fasting doing it this way because it still keeps you in ketosis. MCT oil gets converted into ketones, which becomes usable energy for your body right away, which then takes care of hunger. Think of bulletproof fasting as kind of a training wheel when you're just getting started. Eventually, you're just gonna wanna go without it and just run on your own body fat for energy. Now, fat burning actually only starts at around the 16-hour mark of fasting. That's why 16 hours is the minimum effective dose. You can also get into more advanced intermittent fasting protocols like the 20-hour fast or even a 24-hour fast. The problem with longer fasts is they're less flexible, which means that you really need to plan ahead, especially if you have social gatherings, for example. But here's how I want you to think about it. If you originally planned on doing a 24-hour fast one day, but you only end up doing 20 hours or even just 16 hours, you're still winning. You're also naturally going to eat less the smaller your eating window is, which means it's easier to stay at a calorie deficit, with the caveat being your hormones are moderated for fat loss. Just make sure you're not dieting on top of intermittent fasting and you're still hitting your daily protein intake, which is 0.8 grams per pound of lean body mass. Now, if you want to maximize your results, the most powerful intermittent fasting schedule, especially when it comes to fat loss, is the 24-hour fast. It's more commonly known as OMAD, or 1 meal a day diet. If you really want fast results, go OMAD for a bit. It's unbelievably powerful because you allow your insulin levels to get really low 95% of the time, then you're just eating that one meal. But you should not go OMAD for a long time. And I'm going to show you how to tie this all together in a second here. I'm personally doing a daily 19 or 20-hour fast right now, and I eat 2 meals because I'm training a lot, but I'm also flexible with it. I've found that the sweet spot for most people is an 18-hour fast. Again, fat burning starts at the 16-hour mark. So you get a couple extra hours of fat burning, but it still gives you a lot of flexibility to make plans around. Next, what are you allowed to drink while you're fasting? It's important to stay hydrated during your fast. Feel free to drink water, soda water, black coffee, or tea. That is it. If you stick to those 4 things, you're doing what's called a true fast. You can add a tiny splash of heavy cream to your coffee if you can't drink it black, and it won't be the end of the world because pure fat has little to no effect on insulin, so it doesn't break your fast. You can also add a squeeze of lemon or lime to your water if you want a little flavor. And again, you can also drink bulletproof coffee as a training wheel. Next, let's talk about what you can't have during your fast. This is just as important. You can't use artificial sweeteners. I don't care what other people say about this. You also can't drink diet soda or anything that's branded as 0 calories, but is artificially sweetened. When you fast, one of the biggest things you're trying to do is lower your insulin levels. Yes, artificial sweeteners and diet soda have 0 calories, but that doesn't really mean anything. Nothing that's sweet gets a free pass once it enters your system, because drinking diet soda and artificial sweeteners triggers the cephalic phase insulin response, or CPIR, which breaks your fast. Because your body thinks you're eating because it just tasted something sweet. Hence the insulin release to store all the food that's about to come in. But you're not eating. So your brain gets confused and sends even stronger hunger pangs, which then results in stronger cravings. Notice how you're always hungrier after drinking a can of diet soda? Also, diet soda is often linked to weight gain instead of weight loss because it destroys the gut microbiome. We simply did not evolve to drink that stuff. Next, should you work out fasted? I have a separate video that talks about this in further detail, but the short answer is yes. If you can train fasted, you should. Your muscles adapt to whatever energy source is always available. If your body is used to burning fat while you're fasting, then your muscles will preferentially burn body fat for energy while you're working out. Fasted training is also a very efficient way to drain glycogen stores to get into fat burning even faster. And no, fasting does not cause muscle loss. That is a myth. It's based on nothing but bro science. One of the benefits of fasting is increased growth hormone and testosterone, which prevent you from losing muscle. Studies have even shown that growth hormone can be as high as 2,000% from the baseline after a 24-hour fast. Yes, I said 2,000%. Some experts actually consider growth hormone to be the real fountain of youth because of its anti-aging effects. And you get that nice little uptick from fasting. Now, just a quick reminder, if you're pregnant or you're breastfeeding, if you're malnourished, if you have an eating disorder, or if you're a teenager, then you shouldn't fast. Also, if you have diabetes or if you're taking blood sugar medication, then you should consult with a medical professional first before you try fasting. Otherwise, you're perfectly good to try it and reap all of its amazing benefits. Now, the key to making this work long-term is actually in the name itself. Fast intermittently. Intermittent literally means occurring at irregular times, not continuous or steady. Truth be told, I used to be one of those fasting purists with the mentality that more is always better. But just like with a lot of things, you can definitely have too much of a good thing. This was such a revelation to me when I learned this. It's actually not a good thing to just stick to one fasting schedule for a long time. You want to change it up. Be inconsistent with it. Do it intermittently. For example, maybe on weekdays you do a 16 or an 18-hour fast. Then on weekends, feel free to have breakfast or brunch with your family. Maybe throw in a 24-hour fast once a week, especially if you know you're having a big meal that night. Now, here's the kicker. The old version of me would have never given you this advice. You also want to do an occasional fast from fasting. Yep, you heard that right. Obviously, you still want to eat healthy when you do this. Don't eat like a butt, but feel free to take a break from fasting every once in a while. To me, that sounds way more sustainable, right? The next question then becomes, how are you actually supposed to eat if you want to lose weight? Because here's the thing, 80% of your body composition is determined by your diet. You can't just freestyle this part. Do you have a proven plan that you can follow? To help you with that, I want to give you a free copy of my Lean Body Blueprint. This is how I was finally able to get rid of all my unwanted body fat without depriving myself of my favorite foods or spending countless hours at the gym. It's a simple 4-step process specifically designed for busy professionals, and it's the exact same blueprint that I teach to all my students, and they've all gone to see some amazing results. If you want to be the next success story, then download your free copy of the Lean Body Blueprint right now. There's going to be a link somewhere at the top here or in the description box. Just click on it, type in your email, and I'll send it to you right away. Hey, give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it and share it with your friends. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I post a new video every week, and feel free to leave a comment below if you have any questions about this video. All right, I'll see you in the next one. Virtual high five.